And many of us, because we get a little freedom, and then we get back in the rut, and we get a little freedom, and we get back in the rut, and then we get a little freedom. You know, when that process is done over and over and over and over again, we get really in a place of worry, in a place of discouragement. We get settled into the fact, well, this is the way I may be. Don't we? Come on, you got to be honest with yourself this morning. You can't not be honest with yourself. I don't know about you, but it's happened in my life. I've tried to, willpower it out and tried to do everything, only to find myself, what? Falling back into the rut. And then what happened? Getting discouraged. Getting disillusioned. But we must know that there's an enemy out there. And that enemy is a spiritual being who's bombarding us with thoughts on an everyday basis. The enemy is not flesh and blood. The person sitting next to you, the person home, the person sits next to your cubicle at work is not your enemy. Your boss is not your enemy. The tax man is not your enemy. Notice what it says again in verse 3. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war according to the flesh. Now this seems real easy, but it's hard. Because we live in a physical, natural realm. And we're touching people. See, God created us to be relationships. Yeah. And we're always touching people. We're always talking to people. People are always talking to us. And it seems the one who hurts us the most. You know, when you start to touch people, and you start to talk to people, what happens? We get hurt, don't we? You hear people all the time say things like, that's it. I'm not going to get involved with anybody anymore. I'm not going to talk to anybody anymore. Why? Because you got hurt. Why? Because of DTs. They made you think dirty thoughts. Now you may say, I don't think dirty thoughts. You got to understand what these dirty thoughts are. They're not lust. They can't be lust and perversion. And many people think they are just lust and perversion. But they're not. They're more than that. Many of us get these dirty thoughts from watching TV. I believe the biggest culprit to divorce in America today is TV. Because it puts dirty thoughts in our minds. What do you mean by dirty thoughts in your mind? Well, you watch the TV, and the wife gets up, and her hair is perfect, and her makeup is on, and she's got a beautiful pair of pajamas on. Her breath don't stink. She gets up. Hi, honey, I'll make you breakfast this morning. Dirty thoughts! And then you get up and you look at the wife next to you, she's got rollers in her hair and cold cream in her face. And she says, good morning, and you go, no, please. And then you ask her, you going to get up and make me breakfast? And she says, no, I thought you were going to get up and make me breakfast. And then the dirty thoughts come in. Why am I living with her? See, those are dirty thoughts. It's dirty thoughts. When we worry, God tells us, don't worry.
Amen.
We stand there and try to figure it out and figure it out and figure it out and figure it out. How am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? God says, no. I've made a way where there is none. Or we watch TV and we borrow $10,000 and borrow $20,000 and borrow $30,000 and borrow $50,000. Borrow it. Oh, low interest rate. Yeah, remortgage that. Yeah, that's the way out. We get to dirty thoughts. We got to understand that these dirty thoughts happen every single day. I like what one pastor said about these dirty thoughts. He said it this way. He said, just because a bird flies over your head doesn't mean he has to make a nest in your hair. Same thing with the thoughts. Just because the thoughts come in, don't mean you need to keep them there. Too many of us, we have these dirty thoughts. And we're unaware of these thoughts. And so many of us, we think that we thought them up. What an idea I got. Listen to me. Most of your thoughts come from outside of you. They don't come from inside, they come from outside. You heard something, you listened to something, you watched something. It comes. How many years ever... Let me ask you this question. How many years ever fallen asleep in front of the television set? No? Do you ever wake up scared? Yeah. I guarantee you, if you look in the newspaper the night before, there was a scary movie on. Mm-hmm. And you opened up your thought realm to that movie. People don't realize it's the process of the mind. The battle is here, folks. It's not out here. It's right here. Because if I can get your thoughts, I can get you. I can control you. I can make you do habit patterns you don't want. Because what I've done now is I made you think that thought. You didn't do anything with that thought. It's in your mind. You left it there. It's now become a stronghold. It's now become a habit pattern. And you don't think there's a way out. That's why it's so important that when those thoughts come in, the minute those thoughts come in, you get them out. How many years have you driven a car? Come on. You drive a car and all of a sudden you think about something. You go, where did that thought come from? Dirty thoughts! See, it didn't come from you. You may be driving the car today or someday and all of a sudden the dirty thought, gee, what would happen if I ran into the tree? You don't think those thoughts happen to people? You see, many times those thoughts that come in, they're negative thoughts. And when those negative thoughts come in, what's the first thing you do? You get mad at yourself, don't you? Because you say, why am I thinking those thoughts? You may even beat yourself up and get angry at the person who made you think their thoughts. You get mad at the situation. How many here has ever done that? Doesn't it feel like you're punching at air? You know what I mean? You're punching at an enemy that you can't hit. Because you're not fighting against the enemy, you're just fighting against the air. And you're wondering, why can't I get through this? Why can't I make it? Because you haven't realized who the enemy is in your life. Because you're fighting someone you can't see. And many of us are getting madder and madder. Because you're not dealing with the real issue. You're not dealing with the real problem. You're not dealing with the real... Have you ever thought about where did that thought come from? You see, we get mad at ourselves, we get mad at the situation, it's like punching the air, but we never sit down and say, listen, why did I think that? It's simple. It's the devil. Now I know what's going to happen. People are going to go home and say, oh, Pastor said it's the devil made me do it.
No.
But you got to realize he's come to kill, he's come to steal, and he's come to destroy you. How? Through your thoughts. And if you don't do anything about these thoughts, if you don't cast them down, and you keep those thoughts, you're going to start to do what? Act on them. And then when you start to act on them, they become a stronghold in your life. That's why people today are dealing with pornography on the internet. It came as a thought. You counsel people and you talk to people and they say, I just went on to see what it was all about. And then the thought came up, do it again and do it again and do it again, and they never cast it down. And then what happened is they kept acting on it. Now it became a stronghold. Why? Because these thoughts, when they become a stronghold, they get established in your heart. We need to understand now what is our part in the battle. So you have a part in this battle. So many of us are waiting for God to do it. Hold your place here. Turn to Revelations chapter 12 real quick.
Restore the joy of your bride. Restore the joy